Hello everybody, it's Julian here for video numero dos. This is actually this week's video. The topic is talk about who we were before hormones. Well, before transition, let's just say that. There were a couple of stages of my life. There was the schooling, being guy, in the eyes of the world at least, or it's kind of what I consider myself back then because I didn't know any better. And then when I was 21, I started working as Julia, and then a year and a half ago, I started taking hormones. So I'll talk a little bit about who I was beforehand, early. I lived in the suburbs of Philadelphia in a pretty upscale neighborhood. No, I wouldn't, it's not, they weren't $1,000,000 houses or anything. They weren't mansions. They were nice size houses, and it was I'd say upper middle class in the neighborhood. And I had one friend in the neighborhood who was about my age. There was a girl in the neighborhood who I was kind of friendly with, but we never really got along too well. She was different. But that another guy I was friendly with when I was younger. He just died recently. He was into drugs and stuff, I think, so I think that might have been the problem with him. My mom went to the funeral and they mentioned nothing. So, but it was sad because he was a really close friend of mine when I was younger. But anyway, but I had like 2 or 3 friends, but they were really close friends of mine. But I started cross-dressing when I was 8, and my parents sent me to a therapist when I was 12, I think. And I went to him until I was 17, 18, I think. Because I remember, because I was driving there, so it was like 17, 18. He was, for younger kids, so I wouldn't be going back to him now if I were to talk to somebody. We talked about all different kinds of stuff, from school stuff to my cross-dressing stuff to see why I'm doing what I was. I was a huge geek. And huge computer geek. I loved and still love the Apple IIe. Best computer, best product Apple ever made. Well, the Apple IIgs is better, but that's another story. All the newer Apple stuff is crap, and just pretty paperweights. But no matter what, I look forward to your letters. But anyway, when I was younger, when my brother finally, because we used as the family computer, we used the Apple IIe until 1994, but my brother got his own PC, when they were 286s way back when, and I used to go into his room when he was there and watch him use the computer. Yeah, I was such a dork, such a nerd. And then when he wasn't home, I used to go in there and use his computer. Actually had arguments online. There was something, it was a primitive form of news groups, which really aren't used that much anymore, but it was primitive form of that on bulletin boards before this was way before the internet, and it was on a Star Trek board. I actually had an argument with my brother when my brother didn't know it was me. My name on there was Nathan Red. Don't ask me why. R-E-D-D. Don't ask me why. It just was. So, anyway, yeah, I had an argument with my brother on there, and he didn't know it was me, that I was using his computer and everything. So, yeah. Anyway, then came high school. High school was interesting for me. I was a big AV geek, TV geek. I did lots of stuff for the TV station there. I produced most of the sports stuff. I produced a lot of the newscasts. I did the weather for half a year on the newscast. Basically, me looking at a map and going, yeah, it was bad. But I still am interested in the meteorology stuff. So, but that was something. On camera doing it is a completely different thing, and I admire the people who do it, because it takes a lot of coordination and experience to do that. But I did most of the sports programming. I did the play-by-play. I actually had a fan. I'm not gonna go through the whole story, but I had one fan who always came up to me at games. Well, came up to me twice at games. Yeah, I used to do it for basketball, and I think I did baseball and softball. I forget what else I did, but I did a lot of stuff on camera, so there's a lot of video of me as a guy out there. It's scary, and I sometimes have a tough time watching it, but it was what I was, and it was who I was, and I can't deny that. Some people deny that part of their past, but I was on video a lot. I can't deny that part of my past, nor do I want to. We did a couple of video yearbooks, and one time, actually, the principal used us, told us, oh, well, it needs to be 45 minutes long. We were like, wait, what? Yeah, we're going to play it at an assembly. Yeah. They ended up locking us all in auditoriums and using and bringing out the drug sniffing dogs all around the school out to our lockers. Yeah, all they found were a couple of bottles of herbal essence. Okay, so that was what the dogs hit on. So we felt completely used. And he apologized for us. But I got that. I have some other videos. Actually, there's a video on YouTube right now. Some of the stuff, the graduating class from the year before me, somebody posted some of the videos that these two guys, I forget what their names were, they produced. They used to do a question of the week, kind of jaywalking style, and went around, asked people questions, and in one of the videos, I'm there, looking all young and guy-like and everything. So yeah, that was quite interesting, seeing that again. So it's nostalgic to watch some of that stuff. But anyway, then I went to college for 3 months. went to Ithaca College and dropped out after 3 months. I wasn't emotionally ready, and also at that time, my grandfather, who I was kind of close with on my dad's side, passed away. So all of those, combined, kind of added up to me leaving college. And I came home, and guess where I went? Right back to the high school, to the TV department. And because when I left, they had absolutely nobody producing stuff for the TV station. And the basketball production, I saw one game that they did. It was horrible. And I mean, the guys doing play-by-play were eating and smacking into the microphones. So I said, "The heck with this! I'm taking over. I'm doing that." And it was volunteer for a little while, and then it turned into a paying gig, and then it turned into a then the what's it called? Then the teacher who was the head of the department left, so somebody else who was the teacher's aide became the head of the department, and I became basically the teacher's aide, the TV aide, which meant I was in charge of some others, all different kinds of stuff there, in helping the students out and producing stuff for the TV station and handing out all the AV equipment, like TVs and everything. And then she left, and I became basically the only person down there who knew what I was doing. I didn't have the right formal training to do that. I really wasn't as experienced as I should have been, and I was there. But I was there. I was making $14.20 an hour, plus I was going to be paid $5,000 for the whole year to do all the after-school stuff, it was a position that was there already, because they didn't want to pay all my overtime, and that was fine. So I ended up, well, let's just say things happened, and I ended up basically self-destructing, and ended up in legal trouble, all different kinds of shit. So my life ended up going down the tubes. But I ended up at that point, I ended up getting a job as Julia, and I was quite happy as Julia. And that happened, that lasted for a good 8 years as Julia. I know I've mentioned, in the last video, talking about the marriage that I had that was 3.5 years in there, so I won't talk about that again. But throughout all that, I kind of stagnated, didn't do anything, wanted to move forward with my life. Didn't move forward with my life. I was comfortable where I was for a while. At least I thought I was. Really, when the whole relationship and marriage started, I stopped everything. Hormones, thinking about hormones, doing all of that, because she was happy with me, I was happy with me. So that was when I stopped. And then I just became more and more uncomfortable with myself. Because there's only so long. Okay! There's only so long that you can... Okay! There's only so long that you can dress as and still be comfortable in, in the world. So I finally, after the relationship ended, finally ended up getting on hormones a while later, and I'm quite happy for it. Almost 15 minutes here, so I'm going to say goodbye and talk to you later. See ya.